So, you've been in care for a little bit now, and you may be noticing some of the changes that are happening, not only in your body, but also around your emotions. So let me talk to you a little bit about emotions because it is a huge part of this work. Not only are we going to be getting more connected to our emotions, both good and bad, but not that there are any bad emotions, they're not. They have different purposes and they do serve us, but some we like more than others. But we're going to be also increasing our bandwidth of emotions, our range of emotions. Why is this important? So if we're not able to express the emotions that we are experiencing, they too will contribute to the defense patterns in our spines, which defense patterns, as I talked about, are the patterns of stress or overwhelm where the system starts to become less adaptive, less creative, and more about surviving. And so the spine will always indicate how much emotion is available or how much emotion is not available. If the spine is hard, if the muscles are hard, then emotion is going to be hard to move through us because the system is in a locked state. Ideally, we want the spine to be fluid, which is part of the benefit of getting network care is that your spine becomes a slinky and becomes very fluid. But anyways, so as we're working together, you're noticing like, yeah, you're feeling more. And very often in the beginning of care, you're just feeling better. You know, you're just like, oh my God, I feel peaceful. I feel more relaxed. I feel more open. I feel more clear in my head. You know, all these things are wonderful things. At the same time, you might start to experience some of the more uncomfortable emotions that have been pushed down, squashed, or you just didn't have the ability or bandwidth to process at the time. So it's not uncommon for people to tell me, report to me, or ask me about the fact that it's like, yeah, I just feel angry, or I feel frustrated, or I feel, I just feel more kind of punchy in my emotional state. Which at first, this can feel overwhelming because you don't know what to do with that. But as we become more emotionally tuned and emotionally turned on, we realize that all of these emotions are just indicators of something to pay attention to within ourselves, which are trying to guide us towards something in our lives. So I love for people to do an inventory when they're in this care and notice what emotions are available to you. And most of us have about 5. Most of us run about 5 emotions through the course of our days that are our common go-to emotions. When you start to feel a little bit better and you start thinking more about the future and start feeling that potential wake up within yourself that, there's more for life in you and you're ready to start taking those steps, what would be really great is for you to identify the emotions that you need to feel. Because emotions are the core foundations of everything. If our emotions aren't on, then our ability to correspond with the quantum field and move into that state of attraction is going to be minimalized. So if you're consistently patterning into some lower emotional states, then we want to look at those. We want to look and, it's like what I say is stop, pause, pay attention, and look at what you're doing right there. Like if you're noticing that every single time X happens and you go down an emotionally patterned road that takes you to a place that you don't like to be, that feels horrible when you get there, then we want to investigate that pattern and we want to do a pattern interrupt. Network care is so potent with pattern interrupt. I mean, that's what we're doing as we're installing the patterns into your nervous system. So with emotions, that's just something that in the beginning of this care and all throughout the care that we want to pay attention to, like how are we feeling? What are we feeling? Are we able to identify what we're feeling, both good and bad? As you increase your strategies in this care, your bandwidth of your emotional toolbox is going to expand as well. And what I can tell you is that we won't have access to the really juicy stuff, the joy, the passion, the elation, the excitement, and those higher end emotions that are way over here, like say super energy rich or awaken, if we're not able to fully digest and process and integrate the ones that are really painful as well. So I invite you to start doing the emotional inventory on yourself. And it doesn't matter if you've been in care for a week or 10 years with me. This is always the work, is what am I patterning in? Because you're going to pattern at higher levels too. You know, as you grow, you're going to hit higher level patterns, you know, but no matter where you are in your process, we want to see how you're emotionally in relationship to yourself. No emotions are bad. Some are just trickier to move through. They all have a gift. So I hope this was helpful, and I would love to learn about what you're learning about yourself from the video, because this is actually really one of the key foundations of what I do here. So thanks for listening.